Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's LT, and if you want to learn more about building custom trucks, well, you need to subscribe to this channel because you've come to the right place. Quick status update on Ugly Truck. We got the Turbo 8.1 build that we're in the middle of. Right now I am waiting on one part, and a pretty important part, an exhaust manifold flange. So progress is kind of halted on that at the moment. But I was on Facebook Marketplace last night browsing around, and I found a killer deal on a set of wheels. You'll remember the OBS Suburban project that I kicked off last time, and it came to me with a set of steel 16-inch Dodge second-gen wheels, which I have no idea why they wound up on the Suburban, but I can't stand it. So we're gonna get some new wheels that are gonna completely transform how that truck looks. So you guys get to come along for the ride and check out the transformation. Well, old Ugly Truck's tires definitely need to be replaced as well. But for the moment, the tires for the Suburban are at the tire shop getting mounted up. I can't wait to show you what I picked out because I think it's gonna look so much better than it did with those old, ugly second-gen Dodge wheels. Sorry, Dodge guys, they just do not belong on a Suburban. Now, there's one thing that I want to work on in the meantime, and unfortunately, it is not the turbo on Ugly Truck because I'm still waiting on the exhaust manifold flange. So, zero progress has been made yet. Instead, I want to work on the four-wheel drive for the Suburban. Now, one thing I noticed, and this is probably the only problem I've seen so far with the drivetrain on that truck, is when you engage four-wheel drive and, well, drive, there's an awful banging and clunking sound that you hear coming from underneath the front end of the truck. So I crawled underneath and I gave it a quick look around, and I found something that was fairly obvious. Now, this is the front drive shaft that goes from the transfer case on that end to the front differential on that end down there. That guy has a fairly new universal joint, but this one looks to be original, and it has a tremendous amount of play. Now, I don't know how much that you're actually going to be able to see on the camera, but that U-joint is worn out and it definitely needs to be replaced. So we're going to tackle that before I show you the new wheels and tires. Hopefully that cures the problem, but I'm about, I don't know, 30% worried that it might be something inside the transfer case, but I've got my fingers crossed. So let's swap out this U-joint, then we'll go pick up the Suburban. Taking apart a drive shaft universal joint is fairly straightforward, but there is one thing that sets this particular style of U-joint apart from some others, especially the older kind. And this is common amongst a lot of late model GM stuff. And they use an injected nylon retaining clip. Here's kind of what that means. Now, on the end of the yoke, you'll see there's a very small hole kind of right there on all four corners. And then there is a small groove deep down inside the end of the yoke. And basically what they do when they manufacture these is they inject hot nylon in through those holes and it solidifies, and that's what holds the universal joint caps in place. Now to get them off, you just got to heat them up. I kind of showed you that with a torch.
You could use brute force, but I don't recommend it. I recommend heating it up. Now, I'm kind of a little bit OCD, so I do like to spend a lot of time cleaning stuff up before I put it back together. Now, this has been a part before, I think, because there was a lot of hammer marks and stuff, and you kind of see well, like I said, I file things up, I make it nice and flat and smooth and as clean as I possibly can before it goes back together, because, well, number one, it makes it go back together a little bit smoother, and number two, you're doing the job. There's no reason to rush it and slam the thing back together. Now, in terms of why this particular part failed, there's two working theories that I have. Number one, it could have just run dry on lubrication. Now, this particular U-joint, it did have a grease fitting in it, so it could have been lubricated, and 3 of the 4 caps, they looked fairly good. But one cap, this guy right here, you can see it's all rusty, there were actually no roller bearings at all in this. So that means they either all disintegrated or they were never put in the first place. You can kind of see inside, that's what it's supposed to look like, a little bit of grease and all the rollers inside. Now, I don't know if you could actually put a U-joint together and just have the needle bearings fall out and forget about it, or I don't know if they would just disintegrate over time due to lack of lubrication. I'm really not sure which case is true. Now, on this particular transfer case, this is an NP246, I believe, and it's an auto track transfer case. And the front drive shaft is constantly spinning whether or not you're actually engaged in 4-wheel drive. Now, because of this, that means the output shaft or the front drive shaft is constantly spinning. And so if it is run low on lubrication, then yeah, I could see it kind of wears out prematurely. But who knows? That's not a big deal at this point. We just put it back together and we'll get on the road. I've got the drive shaft all put back together and we're ready to throw it back underneath the truck. Now, everything went fairly smoothly, and for the most part, it's the complete opposite of how you took it apart, except this time there's no heating involved. Now, the one thing that you want to make absolutely sure of is that there's not too much pressure on the U-joints as they kind of press down onto the cross. So an easy way to tell is I like to just grab each yoke or each joint individually and just give it a nice wiggle. I mean, you should have no pressure at all to be able to move this joint around, because in the past I have seen some of these little needle bearings that are in the cup. I have seen like one will fall down in there and it'll just kind of get in between the cross and the bearing cap and make everything just a little bit too tight. So if that happens, you don't want to just take a hammer and smash everything together, because, well, you will cause some damage. So just take your time, take it easy, and it will go together and it should turn nice and smoothly. Now, I also took the opportunity, this U-joint down here, it wasn't as bad as the other one was, but I just figured the drive shaft is out, they're like 30 bucks a piece, so why not just do them both and make sure this drive shaft will give me a nice long life. So I'll get the drive shaft back underneath the truck and I'll show you guys the new wheels.
So you're probably thinking for wheels, I'm going with a big set of like 20s or 22s or something like that. But for now, you can't go wrong with a good set of stock 16-inch PYO aluminum wheels. Now, these would have been found from the factory on like an 01 to an 07 2500 HD. I think they used them on a few more years and a few more applications as well. But they're 16 by 6s. They're made from aluminum. These ones are in really good shape. And the best part is the price. It only cost me 50 bucks for the set of wheels. And if there's anything that I love a good deal. Now, yeah, it did cost me like 140 bucks to get them mounted up. But that's okay, because the tires that, were on the truck on the Dodge wheels, they were in really, really good condition. In fact, they were almost brand new. So I just figured there's no reason to get rid of them just yet. I'll put some miles on it and get some, good use out of the truck, and it looks a lot better doing it. Now, this isn't the final set of wheels and tires that I'm going to have on this truck. I will be lifting it up in the future, and I'll probably go with a 35 or a 37, who knows, maybe even a little bit larger. I'm thinking about doing a solid axle conversion as well. But like I said, for now, it looks great. Now, as far as the four-wheel drive noise is concerned, unfortunately, the new U-joints in the drive shaft, it really didn't do anything. The noise is still there. So now my next thought is it's probably in the transfer case. Now, this truck has an NP246, which is an auto track transfer case, and they're fairly notorious for having problems. And if I do decide to swap to like a solid front axle, they say you actually can't use the 246 because of the output shaft up front. So for all those reasons, I'm probably going to be doing a 241 transfer case conversion, and I'll show you guys that coming up in a future upload. But until then, I want to say thank you guys for watching this upload, and if you haven't already, you might want to subscribe to this channel because we got some great truck content headed your way. We got the ugly truck, the turboed 8.1 swap Silverado. We're making great progress on that, and then we got this Suburban, and I got some tricks up my sleeve for that you're not going to want to miss. So until next time, my name's LT. Thanks for watching.